You're watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is Wake Up Idaho.
This is the third, I believe it's the third. We've only literally gotten in the last 2 days, I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep, I think.
People living north of Emmett are working through the night trying to save their property. The Paddock fire exploded into more than 100,000 acres. It's burning in Washington, Gem, and Payette counties.
In fact, several areas in Idaho under evacuation orders at this hour. Multiple wildfires burning around our state. That's why it's so smoky out there right now.
Unhealthy smoke. Yeah, we've got team coverage this morning. Meteorologist Rachel Garceau tracking how that smoke is impacting air quality.
First, though, let's get to Hector Mendoza because he is live in Washington County with the latest on the Paddock fire. Hector, tell us where you are and what you're seeing this morning.
Right now I'm in Sweet. I am in one of the cities about maybe 10 miles out from Emmett. We're right behind me. I'm not sure if you could see it through the camera here. I'm going to step aside. You could see the line of that fire there, the Paddock fire, which has burned about 118,000 acres at this point. It is 5% contained, and so a lot of the situation out here has been just devastating with people either needing to evacuate or getting ready or needing to get prepared to evacuate. And overnight, our Abby Davis spoke to a husband and wife living in the area over the phone, and they're staying back with the help of neighbors to fight the fire.
It's hard. It's really hard. I just know in my heart, I feel in my heart that these firefighters, when I looked at him and we talked about the fact that they told us to leave and evacuate, I said, would you? And he goes, no, I'd fight to the death for my home. And so, of course, that's what we feel is we're not leaving. We're going to fight.
And I'm looking right now on the Payette County Sheriff's Office Facebook page right now. They do have an update about a few hours ago, and they said one little willow between Stone Quarry Road and Dry Creek Road. Residents in that area need to move from a get set to a get now evacuation notice. So that is something that hopefully we'll keep watching. And if you want more information on any of the evacuation orders in whether it's Gem County, Washington, or Payette counties, you can visit our website at ktvb.com, and we'll continue to update you guys throughout the rest of the morning. So for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio, Maggie and Justin.
All right. Thank you so much, Hector, for that. And Jessica Yarno, who we just heard from, she has decided to stay at her home at last check. She's crediting her neighbors with helping do everything they can to keep those flames at bay. A lot of people in the area are deciding to stay and fight this fire. Now, there's now a Type 3 incident management team on the fire. The team got there last night. They're going to handle all the logistics going forward. The BLM says hopefully this helps free up local agencies to help with other fires, since right now resources are spread so thin. There are fires all around us.
Yeah, fires burning all over, resources thin. So sort of managing all that about what's most important, really critical right now.
Yeah, really critical. In the meantime, new resources arrived to help fight the Bulldog fire. That's the fire burning about 8 miles north of Crouch. The Boise County Sheriff's Office posted this picture on social media.
And they say that Middle Fork Road, here you see it on a map, did reopen, but the level 2 evacuation alert for people living in this area, that's going to stay in place until they reevaluate a little later this morning. Lightning likely responsible for starting the Bulldog fire, along with several others. We had those storms on Monday. A spokesman for the Boise National Forest says crews are just doing everything they can.
We're in planning level 5, so most of the country is dealing with fires, and with that, resources are just spread thin, and it's no different here than on the Boise National Forest. What we have to do is just be smart with our resources. We have more fires than we can deal with right now, so what we do is we're smart about where we put firefighters and what gives us the best chance for success. And for that, it means safety is number 1. Number 2 is protecting private ground, and also to attack fires that we know we have a high probability of success.
Now, the Bulldog fire has grown to 800 acres at last check. None of that is contained. Level 1 ready evacuation orders are in place for people near Warm Lake this morning. The Valley County Sheriff's Office made the announcement because of the Snag fire. That has burned about 7,000 acres, about 10 miles east of Cascade. Rachel has shown us some views, some time lapses of that fire this morning. The sheriff issued the order yesterday so the people who live there have time to make a plan. So if you're in that area, please Have a plan to get out if you need to.
Meanwhile, take a look at this. Bogus Basin Road back open this morning after this fire right here threatened homes yesterday. That is right up against the road. A viewer sent us this video of the fire. It started just before noon yesterday. Crews were able to get the flames under control in about an hour. Here you see video of them putting a lot of water on it. No homes were damaged. Cause of the fire currently under investigation.
And transportation officials are also doing their part to try to reduce the number of wildfires in Idaho. ITD posted this video you see here on social media. It shows workers mowing the shoulders and the medians along the freeway between Mountain Home and Boise. ITD says this will significantly reduce the number of human-caused wildfires along the interstate.
Meanwhile, 2 super scooper planes, these right here, are currently stationed in Boise. Then they're being deployed throughout Idaho to fight all these wildfires. Bridger Aerospace out of Bozeman, Montana operates and manages 6 of these planes nationwide. The planes can scoop up to 1,400 gallons of water in just 12 seconds and can get water from any nearby reservoir as long as the body of water is a mile wide and just 9 feet deep.
We pride ourselves on being that support from the air, both with scoopers and suppressing the fire so the ground crews can be effective and providing them literally that air cover.
Super scoopers are the only planes in the world designed to fight wildfires, and they got a big job on their hands right now.
Yes,
fires
they do.
all over the area, and if you step outside or even in your home, you might be smelling that wildfire smoke. Here's meteorologist Rachel Garceau.
That's right. I know air quality is just secondary to saving people's homes and making sure people, property, and animals are all safe. But still, this will likely be the biggest, most widespread impact of those fires burning across our beautiful state this morning. Take a look at this map. I just pulled this image from airnow.gov a few moments ago. That red that you're seeing in the upper left-hand corner, and in particular the purple embedded within the red, that is Southwest Idaho, and the purple is the Boise area. This is a nationwide map, and you can see we have the absolute worst air quality in the country right now. This is the second time this wildfire season that we have had that distinction. The last time was for Eastern Oregon when that Durkee fire was raging. So now Eastern Oregon is actually seeing the best air quality across the region. Places to the east and north of our fires right now are seeing the worst air quality. It is absolutely dismal across the Treasure Valley. Some spots in Boise in that purple or very unhealthy for all air quality category. There's only one that is worse than that, and that is hazardous. Here's a view from Sun Valley this morning. You can see smoke blanketing Bald Mountain, and as we look at that Tamarack Resort time lapse, this is what Maggie was just talking about. This is that snag fire burning across Cascade Reservoir off to the east. You can see it from the top of Tamarack Resort, and look at the smoke that has moved into Long Valley. Here's our look from Bogus Basin looking out towards the Treasure Valley. You can see smoke even blanketing Bogus. So air quality will fluctuate throughout the day today, but generally I would urge you to plan on limiting your outdoor activities. The heat may have you hunkered down indoors as well. We will still hit 95 degrees even with the smoke at the surface, with a partly cloudy sky moving in overhead.
Well, in the closing days of the Summer Olympic Games, do you believe it? We are in those final days. The attention is turning to the track in Olympic Stadium.
And Team USA as they extend their lead in the overall medal count.
NBC's Jay Gray is in Paris. He has an update for us on all of that Olympic action.
It's the final of the men's 400 meters. Let's go!
Down early, Quincy Hall finds another gear.
Quincy Hall is coming back!
Closing at the tape to win gold in the 400 by just 4,000ths of a second. Katie Moon soaring to silver in pole vault.
This was unlike anything I've ever experienced. This is what I thought the Olympics would feel like, and I'm just so happy that I walked away with some hardware for the U.S.
More hardware in a rough and tumble steeplechase. Olympic rookie Cole Rooks grabbing silver. On a different track,
and their lead is swelling.
The American women build an early lead and never looked back, taking home gold in cycling team pursuit. And for the second time in as many nights, an American woman left the wrestling mat a champion. Sarah Hildebrandt takes home gold. A heavy load lifted from the shoulders of Team USA as Hampton Morris grabs bronze in weightlifting, the first medal for the American men in the sport in 40 years. A 20-year drought ending with a splash for the U.S. artistic or synchronized swimmers, the team taking silver.
And then, oh my!
And with 2 sick runs early, Tom Shar closes the skateboard competition with a silver in men's park. Jay Gray, NBC News, Paris.
The American team nearing 100 medals now, closing in on its Olympic record of 113 that we won in Tokyo.
Again, we're using we generally, but we're all Americans. Aren't we all Olympians?
No.
Not really. No, not at all. But hey, we're rooting for them. 27 of those medals in Paris are gold, in fact. Coming up on Wake Up Idaho, a former Power Ranger accused of battery has agreed to show up for his arraignment. The latest on this story straight ahead.
Also, our Hector Mendoza is live on the Paddock fire this morning, causing evacuation. Some people deciding to stay behind and fight for their properties. We have that coming your way. It is 6:10. Good morning.
It is 6:13 now on this first alert weather day for smoke that will continue to impact air quality. It has deteriorated rapidly overnight to where we now have the worst air quality in the country. That is one of my big talking points today. Overhead, we'll have a mix of sun and clouds. So you bring some cloud cover in with the smoke at the surface. Likely will feel a bit gloomy out there in many places today. As far as temperatures go, though, pretty typical summertime heat sticks around. We don't see much change from yesterday as far as those high temperatures go. As we look outside right now, you can see in the street lights here over the connector, especially this one, it looks like a foggy day. That is that smoke that is in the air right now. We can smell it inside our building here at KTVB. Air quality is in the purple or unhealthy for everyone category across much of the Boise area and to the north, nearing that Paddock fire right now. It's 67 degrees, so it is comfortable if you are heading out and maybe braving the smoke. But again, once you get into that purple category, everyone should remain indoors as much as possible. I've seen these numbers climb even just a little bit in the last 30 minutes or so. Likely we'll see that air quality fluctuate throughout the day as our winds shift a bit from the south to the west. But the general outlook for our future cast here for the smoke, look at where we start seeing those purples right to the east of that Paddock fire, which is right there, that kind of blob in between Boise and Cascade. This is 8 to 9 o'clock tonight with those westerly winds. It'll push that smoke to the east. So everywhere, like I said, to the east of those fires in particular, should be monitoring air quality closely, but it will likely just be a day where indoor activities for you and the kids and the pets, probably your best bet today. Temperature-wise across the region right now, we talked about our 67 in Boise. We're down to 61 in Nampa, 59 in Mountain Home, where visibility, by the way, is about 5 miles because of that smoke. So kind of like a foggy morning. Mid-60s currently in Twin Falls and low 50s for places like McCall and Haley right now. All right, our big picture look shows we still have high pressure parked down to the south, some moisture creeping up around that ridge, especially overnight tonight into tomorrow. Could bring some thunderstorm chances into the mix for Friday. That is just insult to injury on the fire front, as dry lightning is possible tomorrow. We'll watch that very closely for your Friday. Temperatures mid-90s in the Treasure Valley today, right around 90 in the Magic Valley, and low 80s for all of you in our mountain valleys today. Our 7-day forecast shows that after our first alert weather day today, temperatures inch up a bit tomorrow, even with some clouds coming in. We stay hot long term, a few degrees above average from Saturday through Monday. Then temperatures slowly start to dip until we hit the low 90s by the middle of next week.
That smoke coming off a number of fires in our area, including this one. The fire burning north of Emmett. The Paddock fire has charred more than 100,000 acres. It's burning in Washington, Gem, and Payette counties. It exploded yesterday, burning more than 100,000 acres in just a span of 24 hours.
Yeah, our Hector Mendoza live near Sweet this morning. He has the very latest for us. Hector, tell us what you're seeing. Is ash falling? A lot of our viewers are saying it is.
Yeah, you could really see the particulate. I think right now, as the sun is coming up, we're seeing a lot more of that light. You can really see that haze and all that condition coming from that Paddock fire back there, which is burning just north of Emmett, and it's already burned almost 120,000 acres at this point. It is 5% contained, and this is a fire that's burning in Washington, Tem, and Payette counties, and it's roughly about 118,000 acres, 5% contained. We spoke with several people in the area doing their best to save their livelihood, and one man was moving a couple head of cattle. Another was helping fight back the flames of his grandparents' 2,700 acre farm.
Seeing the flames come over and then hearing it and then seeing the flame just come over at me, and that's when I had to get in the gator and head back down before it came over, and I would get trapped up there. So that was pretty real when seeing it that close and just seeing all the black and burned everywhere was pretty devastating.
It's one of several fires in Idaho that started this week because of thunderstorms, and the Bureau of Land Management says that it's a tough fire to fight because of the high temperatures and the winds that have coming in, and it's a very steep terrain, so very, very difficult to fight this fire here, and they've been fighting overnight. So we'll send it back over to you guys, Justin and Maggie.
Yes.
Alrighty, Hector, thank you for that. You can see that fire burning just over Hector's left shoulder there, and as Hector told us recently, there's an update to the evacuation notices from the Payette County Sheriff's Office. That is expanded. We have that online at KTVB.com. Coming up on Wake Up Idaho, the Harris campaign touring the country to introduce her running mate, Tim Walz, for the Republicans' J.D. Vance. Meanwhile, shadowing the Harris campaign, holding rallies in the same states.
Also, Taylor Swift has canceled her concerts in Austria because of a terrorist threat. We're going to tell you what we know about that, too, coming up.
6:18 your time right now. Let's talk a little bit of Olympics and your medal count. Nearing 100 medals is the U.S. They're in the lead with 95 total. Also in the gold medal lead with 27. China in second on both counts. Then comes France, Great Britain, and Australia. More Wake Up Idaho after this.
Tropical storm Debbie, that's going on too. We have so much in the news this morning. It is still posing a major flood threat for parts of the East Coast. North Myrtle Beach experiencing street flooding. Look at this. Debbie has moved back inland overnight. Some streets closed, others barely passable. More rain is on the way. Debbie has gained strength this morning and made a second landfall. The storm will continue to dump heavy rain along the East Coast today. Rachel, not only watching the fires, the air quality, the weather here, but also what's happening with Debbie, Rachel.
That's right, Maggie. Singing for my supper today, right? There is a lot going on, and this is our latest live look at the radar of Debbie this morning. Here you can see this is North Carolina. There's Raleigh. That is kind of the bullseye right now. So this storm is still stretching way off into the Atlantic, gaining strength from those warm waters. So yes, a second landfall happening right now, and this storm will slowly spin up the East Coast over the next 48 hours or so, making its way all the way into New England before finally drifting off to sea across eastern Canada. So that will continue to be a big national weather headline as far as that rain goes. We're looking at some catastrophic flooding still from that storm. For us, the biggest weather headline is that air quality out there today, where you see this gray shading. That's our air quality advisory that's in place today. And no wonder we have purple or very unhealthy air quality across much of the Boise area, stretching even into Mountain Home because of the numerous wildfires burning across the region, in particular that Paddock fire where Hector is live for us this morning, keeping an eye on conditions there. It's prompted evacuations, a very scary scene. Looks like our camera adjusted itself, but what I was trying to show you was the fact that we have murky skies out there. Visibility is being impacted, especially in Boise east towards Mountain Home. We're in the upper 60s right now. By the time you head home this afternoon, hot and hazy, a high of 95 degrees. And outdoor activities, you guys, please use caution and limit them if at all possible throughout the day today.
Rachel, thank you. In other news, the family of a French explorer who died in a submersible implosion is seeking more than $50 million in a wrongful death lawsuit. Paul-Henri Nargelet was among 5 people who died when the Titan submersible imploded during a voyage to the wreckage site of the Titanic in June of last year. No one survived that trip aboard the experimental Ocean Gate submersible, which has since suspended operations. Attorneys say the doomed submersible had a troubled history, and Ocean Gate failed to disclose key facts about the vessel and its durability. Ocean Gate's CEO and co-founder Stockton Rush was operating the Titan when it imploded.
6:24 is now your time, and you may have heard about this. Taylor Swift has had to cancel her weekend concerts in Austria because of a suspected planned terrorist attack that was foiled, potentially targeting her concerts. Now, Swift was scheduled to perform in Vienna this weekend. Police in Austria arrested 2 men in connection with this alleged terror plot. Investigators say the men, who became radicalized online, were planning to attack major events in Vienna, potentially, they say, Swift's concerts, with thousands of people there. Police say the suspects had detailed plans to carry out an attack. They found chemical substances during their search. It's unknown if they were bomb-making substances, but once again, Taylor Swift's concerts are canceled this weekend just to keep people safe.
Let's talk about the race for the White House now. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, continue their barnstorming tour as their campaign aims to introduce Walz to a key voting demographic, Midwest voters.
The Democratic ticket even had a run-in with GOP vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance on the tarmac in Wisconsin yesterday. They're in the same places. Vance has been busy on the campaign trail, too, with his most recent line of attack directed at Governor Walz's 24 years of military service.
NBC's Drew Petrimo has the latest details from Washington, D.C.
With the stage finally set, the candidates are beginning a 3-month sprint to Election Day. Dueling rallies in key battleground states. Vice President Harris and Republican VP nominee J.D. Vance trading barbs in Michigan.
We've got to throw Kamala Harris out of office, not give her a promotion.
Donald Trump intends to take our nation backward. Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. Project 2025.
And Wisconsin.
Donald Trump has openly vowed if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one.
What does Kamala Harris's selection of Tim Walz say about her? Well, I think it says, one, she's leaning into the defund the police radicalism of the last few years.
Former President Trump not on the campaign trail, but speaking to voters via the airwaves about Tim Walz.
You know, nobody knew how radical left she was, but he's a smarter version of her, if you want to know the truth.
Vance also taking aim at Governor Walz's 24 years of military service, claiming Walz abandoned his unit just before it deployed to Iraq.
When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him.
At 17, I joined the Army National Guard. And for the next 24 years, it was a privilege to wear the uniform of this country.
The attacks likely to escalate as the candidates barnstorm the country, making their case to voters. Drew Petrimo, NBC News, Washington.
And in terms of Governor Walz's military service, we learned he retired from the Guard 10 months before his unit was deployed. Today, Harris will hold another event in Michigan before heading to Phoenix, Arizona, and then Las Vegas.
Now, Vance was scheduled to be in North Carolina today, but those events were postponed because of the severe weather there.
Coming up in 6 minutes, our Hector Mendoza live in Sweet, Idaho, where the Paddock fire is nearby. He's going to give us the very latest on what's happening with that fast-growing fire and how people are staying to protect their homes.
Plus, we're going to tell you your primetime lineup for the Olympics happening this evening as you take a look at a live shot of the Eiffel Tower. More Wake Up Idaho after this. .30 your time right now on your Thursday morning. Let's take a look at traffic. There you see things moving along just fine on I-84. Biggest delay you see right there is on the bottom right on 2026 or chinned in right at the Highway 16 intersection. Also, still very smoky out there, could affect your visibility a bit, so just take it easy on the roads. It is the last few days of the Olympics, and Team USA is currently in the lead with 94 total medals and in the lead with 27 gold medals.
But don't worry, the action is not over yet. We have a few days left, and here's a look at the exciting events happening in Paris today for you.
After winning the 100-meter sprint by 0.005 of a second, Noah Lyles looks for another gold in the 200 meters. The American hasn't lost in that distance since the Summer Games final in Tokyo 3 years ago. Plus, in the women's 400-meter hurdles, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone looks to defend her title from Tokyo. In men's basketball, it's the semifinals with a spot in the gold medal game on the line. Plus, there's more semifinals action in men's and women's beach volleyball from the iconic stadium beneath the Eiffel Tower. And medals will be up for grabs to whoever can scurry up a 49-foot wall fastest in men's speed climbing.
You can watch all those events right here on Channel 7 tonight. Starts at 7 o'clock with the men's 3-meter springboard diving.
And then at 8, track and field is hosting several events. The women's long jump final. Here's a rundown for you. The women's 400-meter hurdles final and the men's 200-meter final. And then, of course, after your Olympic coverage, tune in for the news at 10 because, wow, we have a lot going on in our area right now. Fires, air quality. We're going to cover it all coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is Wake Up Idaho.
Not facing the fire right now.
It just crushed it. You can see it.
Oh my.
Yeah, it just crushed it.
Scary, emotional video this morning, and we have breaking new details on the Paddock fire north of Emmett. Burned around 118,000 acres in Gem, Payette, and Washington counties.
Farmers, ranchers, families, they've been doing everything they can to try to protect their property and their livestock. And this morning we're hearing new details from people living in that area. Hector is live for us this morning with the latest. Hector, first tell us where you are and what you're seeing and experiencing out there this morning.
Well, this morning I am here in Sweet, and I am just about maybe 10 miles out from Emmett. And one of the big things that I've noticed is that if you look behind me and try to look at some of the mountains behind me, you can't even really see it due to some of the smoke that we're continuing to see. And it's just continuing to get thicker as that light continues to come out. We're going to continue to see that. And again, it has burned about 118,000 acres at this point. It is 5% contained. And we do have some new information this morning about evacuations in the area. This is a map. We're going to pop up a map in a little bit there from the Payette County Sheriff's Office, and there you can see red areas on your screen on Little Willow between Stone Quarry Road and Dry Creek Road. Residents in that area moved from a get set to a get now evacuation notice. The area on Little Willow north of Dry Creek is also under a get now status, and people living in that area should evacuate. Others in the area are in the get ready stage, and the Paddock fire is one of several in the state that started this week because of lightning, and BLM says that it's tough. It's a tough fire to fight because of high winds and temperatures. It is also a very steep terrain, and as I mentioned, people in several areas are under level 3 evacuations, included the unincorporated town of Ola in Gem County. Our Abby Davis spoke to some people on the phone who showed us her home isn't far from the flames.
What goes through your mind as you're watching that?
I don't know, like, it almost felt like a dream, like a nightmare. It feels like a nightmare. And then I question, am I strong enough to do this? There's the firefighters right there.
Yarno, who you just heard from, has decided to stay at her home at last check. She credits neighbors with helping do everything they can to keep the flames at bay. And there's now a Type 3 incident management team on the fire. And the team got here last night and will handle all of the logistics going forward. And then BLM hopes that this will free up local agencies because the fire and resources are very stretched thin at this point. Justin and Maggie?
They really are. We have fires all around us at this point, and so we have fire crews in all directions this morning. Thank you so much, Hector, for that update. We wish those families the very best this morning, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening.
Yeah, let's check in with Rachel Garceau now. Just a ton of smoke in the air right now, Rachel.
That's right. Maggie just said there's fires burning in all directions. That also means smoke is coming in from all directions, and it is thick out there this morning. This is the biggest widespread impact from wildfires burning in the region, so it is a first alert weather day because of poor air quality. There is an air quality advisory in effect across all of the Treasure Valleys and the Magic Valley this morning as well. Our current AQI, or air quality index in Boise, we just dipped down to 200, which is right on the cusp of the unhealthy to very unhealthy categories. I wouldn't worry so much about the number as the impacts and what it means for you. This will be a day where, unless the smoke improves this afternoon, everyone needs to exercise caution and remain indoors as much as possible until things do start getting better. Here's a live look at 4 different vantage points across the region. Upper left is Boise. It looks like a foggy start, an overcast start. That is the smoke out there. It is thick. You can smell it. You can almost taste it in some spots. Sun Valley, very smoky as well. A little better out towards Twin Falls and McCall, but still that air quality will be our biggest weather impact today. Another hot one is as well. We'll climb into the mid-90s across the Treasure Valley this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds overhead, but that smoke expected to linger throughout the day today.
Rachel, thank you. In other news now, West Nile virus is popping up in Canyon County again. The county's mosquito abatement district says the virus was found on August 1st, southwest of Melba, and on August 6th, west of Caldwell. These are the second and third positive test results found in Canyon County just this season. The district started treating the area to try to keep it from spreading to people. The agency is asking you to help out by draining any standing water around your home. A former Power Rangers actor who recently moved to Nampa agreed to show up for his arraignment on battery charges. Hector David Rivera, or Hector David Jr., is accused of shoving a man right here in this video in his early 60s to the ground. This during an apparent argument in a Nampa parking lot last month. The incident caught on video. Rivera is supposedly in white right there. Nampa police posted this to their Facebook page while they were looking for him. Court documents say an argument started after the victim confronted Rivera when Rivera parked in a handicap spot without a placard in his truck. Police say Rivera then pushed the man and drove away. Rivera played the Green Power Ranger from 2011 to 2015. Documents show his arraignment is set for August 28th.
The Ada County Coroner's Office has confirmed the body found in that Boise Canal Tuesday was, in fact, 5-year-old Matthew Glenn. Boise police say the nonverbal autistic boy, he wandered away from his birthday party Monday night near his apartment complex on Alamosa and State Street. Search crews found his body Tuesday morning in the Farmers Union Canal in West Boise. That was about a half-mile away from where he went missing. Divers recovered Matthew's body, which was submerged in water, and the coroner's office determined he accidentally drowned, just breaking all of our hearts. People are remembering that sweet little boy by creating this canal side memorial there at the site. We will be right back.
Team USA is going to be on full display at the Summer Olympics today.
Anne-Marie Tiernan live in Paris for us with a look at what's ahead for Team USA. Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Well, good morning to you. It's a beautiful day here in Paris today, and the competition is marching on. In fact, there are 25 opportunities to win a gold medal today. Some of the marquee events include track and field, basketball, and women's volleyball. Let's take a look. American speedster Noah Lyles continues his quest for the triple gold in Paris. He's racing in the men's 200 final. Lyles already won the 100-meter dash. In men's basketball, all eyes are on Team USA as LeBron James and company tip off against Serbia in the semis. In women's volleyball, the U.S. and Brazil face off in the semis. The winner plays for gold. And in water polo, the U.S. and Australia meet in the semis. The winner advances to the gold medal game. The U.S. has won this event 3 consecutive times. And some of the competition has already wrapped here in Paris today. We have some competition that's wrapped. That is the women's marathon. They were able to get that off in the River Seine today. That venue passed water quality tests, and so tomorrow the men will compete in that event. It takes about 2 hours to swim in the River Seine. We're told the only thing about conditions that we heard from the swimmers right afterwards was that there was a pretty strong current, but otherwise that venue was able to go. Also, Katie Ledecky, the swimmer, and Nick Mead, the gold medal rower, have been given the honor by Team USA. They've been named the flag bearers for the closing ceremony. You might remember that Katie wasn't able to go to the opening ceremony on that rainy Friday night because she had a big race on Saturday. So this is an opportunity for this 4-time Olympic medalist to take part in some of the fanfare of what it is to be an athlete at the Games. Back to you.
I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to her, too. What a Games she has had, and I'm glad they got that Seine River ready to go for those swimmers. We were worried about that yesterday, so thank you for that update, Anne-Marie.
Appreciate it, Anne-Marie, as always, being live there from Paris. Let's go now to Rachel Garceau to talk about your weather and a lot of smoke in the skies today.
That's right, Maggie and Justin. It is a first alert weather day for that smoke, which is impacting air quality in a very big way. You've heard me say this several times today, but our area right now has the worst air quality in the entire country for the second time this wildfire season. AQI in Boise right now air quality index is right at 200. That's right on the border between the red and purple, which means we're right around unhealthy and very unhealthy. The takeaway is that air quality is impacted and outdoor activities should be limited for everyone until conditions improve. The gray shading you see is that air quality advisory that's in effect not just for the Treasure Valley, but also the Magic Valley today. We are looking at a lot of purple readings, which remember is very unhealthy. Mountain Home, Sun Valley right now in the red or unhealthy air quality categories. The further west you go in our area today, the better that air quality is. But areas to the east and northeast of where those biggest fires are burning will bear the brunt of the thickest and smoke and worst air quality today. This is a live look from the top of Tamarack looking out over Lake Cascade. With daylight, we're losing the view of the flames, but I've been talking about this all morning as well, that snag fire east of Cascade Reservoir. We've been seeing the flames building overnight. That is at 0% containment right now. And it looks like a foggy, overcast start here in Boise. This is a live look from Skycam 7. Skies are mostly clear overhead, but it's hard to tell because of the surface is just so murky. Visibility being impacted as well. Normally, this is a map I use on a foggy day. Anywhere you see less than 10-mile visibility means that we are seeing impacts from that smoke. So Haley has 5-mile visibility, also seeing some impacts from Boise to Mountain Home. So something to be aware of today. And there is no wind at the moment across much of the Treasure Valley. Where we are seeing wind, it is out of the south and the southwest. And so that will, again, continue to push that smoke to the north and the northeast of where those fires are burning. So high pressure remains in control to our south. Another hot afternoon coming our way. And then starting later tonight and into early tomorrow, we'll have some moisture creeping up around that ridge. That could lead to some isolated thunderstorms tomorrow. Not a lot of rain with the storms, just dry lightning and gusty winds. So on the fire front tomorrow, things are not looking improved, unfortunately. Temperature-wise right now, if you are going to brave the smoke or you have to head out the door to work, we're sitting generally in those low to mid 60s across the Treasure Valley. We will climb into the mid 90s, so another hot one. So if the smoke maybe doesn't have you hunkering down inside, the heat might. 95 degrees is just a couple degrees above normal for early August. After our first alert weather day for the air quality today, temperatures inch up a bit tomorrow, still smoky with a chance of those storms firing off, especially in the mountains on Friday. Then hot and mostly sunny as our weekend progresses, with temperatures finally dipping below normal by the middle of next week.
Rachel, thank you. Let's talk some Bronco football now. And the hype around Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty is shifting to the next gear as his Heisman Trophy campaign gets underway. If you swing by practice, though, you're going to quickly understand he's unbothered by all the noise and the hype. After picking up over 1,900 yards from scrimmage last season, the junior-to-be is embracing the grind of fall camp and just focused on getting better.
If you don't love it, then, it's hard to play football, because on the days where it's hard or maybe you're not making as much plays, if you don't love it, then, it's going to be hard to enjoy. But it's just the little things each and every single day. Just realizing what things do you do well, and then what things maybe can you take another step in. And, for me, football IQ, taking care of the body, nutrition, and I think all those things has propelled me. There's no place I'd rather be than here playing football with all my brothers.
More Wake Up Idaho after this.
It is a first alert weather day, so let's get to our walk around the block, brought to us today by Drax, who looks like he was taking a walk up in the mountains, maybe with Allison, who sent us this great photo of Drax posing on what looks like an old tree stump. And hey, the mountains even today are smoky and may not be the best place for a walk around the block or the woods as it was. I'm giving it yellow cautionary pause all day long on your Thursday forecast simply because of that dismal air quality. It It is soupy in Boise right now. You can smell it both inside buildings, definitely outside in the air. Keep a very close eye on air quality today. It does improve as you get west of the Boise area, closer to maybe Nampa, Caldwell, out into eastern Oregon, but still it will likely impact all of your outdoor activities today. We will still be hot. We'll hit about 95 in Boise this afternoon, but again, the smoke and the heat combined will likely have a lot of us indoors. Here's a live look outside right now, especially in Boise and Sun Valley. You can see just how thick that smoke is this morning.
Rachel, thank you. And we continue to follow that breaking news this morning. The Paddock fire burning just north of Emmett burned about 118,000 acres in Gem, Payette, and Washington counties.
Farmers and ranchers have been doing everything they can to try to protect their properties and the livestock in the area. Hector is live in Sweet Forest. He's been there all morning long with the latest. Hector, fill us in.
Well, at this point right now, we haven't seen much of that fire burning, I guess, behind me like we saw earlier on into the show. But what we can see right now is if I step aside a little bit, you can't even really see much of those mountains there. It's all due to that very dense smoke that we're seeing due to that Paddock fire there. And it has roughly burned about 118,000 acres and is 5% contained. It is one of several fires, as we mentioned all morning, that has started this week because of thunderstorms. BLM says it's a tough fire to fight because of the high winds and some of the temperatures we've been seeing, and it's also a very steep terrain. People in several areas are under level 3 evacuations, including the unincorporated town of Ola here in Gem County, not too far from where I am here in Sweet, and many others are under level 2 and level 1 evacuation orders. We have all of those details on our website to stay up to date with some of the evacuation orders on KTVB.com. Meanwhile, we spoke to one man who's been working hard to protect his family's 2,700-acre farm.
When you kind of know that everything's pretty much going to get torched, it's not that big of a deal. Like it's a huge deal, but as long as that everyone's safe and it's not going to burn down a house, and if we have this part safe, it's happened before, and stuff grows back.
As of this morning, Johnson said he's more hopeful that his grandparents' farm will be saved, and there's a Type 3 incident management team on scene. The team, which BLM says is based out of Nevada, got here Wednesday night and will handle all of the logistics moving forward. And one of the big things that we've noticed and that we've been talking about is some of those structures and maybe some of those houses that are being threatened by the fire. I talked with BLM, I talked with Gem, Payette, and Washington County, reached out and asked if there was any structures that have been lost due to the fire. At this point, they cannot confirm any reports of that structure fire or any fires being burnt down from the fire. So I'll keep up to date, and I'll keep in contact just to see what else we can see and if there's been any damage to many of these properties. Justin, Maggie?
All right. Thank you, Hector, for that. So as of right now, we don't know of any properties that have burned, but we'll keep you posted. Resources are spread so thin right now, though, with fires literally all around us. We will be right back.
All right, it is 6:58. Let's get you out the door. Talk about your 3 things to know today. We have dismal and dangerous air quality for many portions of the Treasure Valley today. In fact, Boise sitting in that purple or unhealthy for all air quality category. Does not roll off the tongue this morning. So be sure you are very cautious today as you head out and about, if you must, into the smoke. Temperatures will hold steady today as far as those mid-90s go. That's pretty seasonable for this point in August. And some clouds have moved in overnight and will continue to move by overhead. So that, combined with the smoke, will make for a pretty murky Thursday. Look at this view from Skycam 7 looking out over the connector. You can just see the smoke out there. It is dense right now. It has not improved much throughout the morning hours. Temperatures are rising. We're at 69 degrees right now. Again, seeing a lot of purple or very unhealthy air quality readings. It is a first alert weather day because of the smoke. We still see smoke in the air tomorrow and hot temperatures.
Oh, wow. It is really thick out there. Unhealthy for everyone. Please be careful out there. Limit your time outdoors.
And we're going to hear from Hector again in about half an hour live from the Paddock fire.